So the biggest issue that I have, I mean, maybe I should do this like a YouTube video, like, hey guys, GHAZZY TV here with another Diablo 4 kind of video. I'm going to talk about a problem that I've been having a lot with the skill tree. So I'm used to Path of Exile skill tree. So this little twig tree, there's a couple of issues with the way abilities are set in Diablo 4 for me. I'm not saying that it's a big issue. I think that the difficulty is very simple, it's very casual friendly, and that's good for the majority of players for the sake of Diablo specifically, I think. And I think that the more advanced designing part for the builds comes more in play when it comes to the Paragon boards. And I think that it is still very simple. It's very, very, very simple, but it's complex enough to create some sort of interest behind it for the people that wants a little bit more in-depth stuff. But you only have access to 6 skills on your action bar. You can't summon minions from the Book of the Dead and then taking away the skill or the action from your action bar. That will desummon your minions. You can't do snapshotting, if you will. Plus, that would be completely stupid because of the priest effect. So that gives you 6 skills. Some builds can get away by not having a basic skill. Most will not. That's 1. Most builds will use a core skill. That's 2. Most builds will have, at least on a Necromancer, will either run Corpse Explosion or at least have a backup Blood Mist. That's already 4. And then the most Necromancer builds, which I don't see why you never would, you should have a curse. Most will run Decrepify. That's 5. You have 1 more skill now. Now, either in a Blood build, you would have 2 core skills, Bloodlands and Blood Surge. And Bonemancer would run Corpse Explosion and have a backup point in Blood Mist. Like 1 point in this. That's 6 skills already. There's literally 6 skills already. The Shadowmancer also kind of want to have a Blood Mist. The only given time you can add another ability would be an ultimate skill in most of these skills. But the problem is, from a Necromancer, we don't have a mobility skill to start with. And because we don't have a mobility skill, that makes it even more important to have a defensive panic button skill, such as Blood Mist, right? Now, Blood Mist allows you to do this to mitigate and completely trivialize enemy boss mechanics. Let's take a Shava as a prime example. He does the slam on the ground and it pulls his fucking blades backwards, right? You might find yourself being off position. You can save yourself by just clicking Blood Mist and not give a fuck. Easy game. There are plenty of these type of encounters in the game where you can basically completely mitigate the entire existence of a mechanic by just clicking Blood Mist. You're off position when he does the cleave thingy, the slapping with his arm, right? That does a fuckload of poison damage. Just ignore it. Oh, you're off position. Don't worry about it. I just click Blood Mist. It does put a lot of pressure for the Necromancers to have either double dodge or evade on your boots, or at least having a good amount of movement speed on your boots. Very good stat to focus on. However, if you decide to remove Blood Mist, which I think would only be reasonable to do in party play, definitely not for hardcore, that allows you to do an ultimate skill. Now, what's the purpose behind your ultimate skills? Now, I want to say for the Bonemancer, though, you can run Bone Splinter, Bone Spear, Corpse Explosion, Backup Blood Mist, Curse. That's 5. The problem is, in a Bonemancer build, where you sacrifice your minions in the end game, I'm actually using skeletons in the early stage for that build. I would still not take a ultimate skill. And there are a couple of issues with this, and I want to talk about that. Because I would go for 1 point Corpse Tendrils, maybe even 2 points for Enhanced, for this low. The reason for this is 1, crowd control. 2, it's great for party play. 3, the legendary power for Corpse Tendrils, which is called Grasping Veins, I think, is insane. Because it gives you a stupid amount of crit strike chance, which is great for the Bonemancer build specifically. So with that information, we are then looking at the possibility that if we were to run an ultimate skill, what would that be? I'm actually using an ultimate skill on the Blood build. And that is because it barely has any skills. It's one of the easiest builds you can play as a Necromancer, using the Blood Wave. The ultimate skills cost 0 essence. They have a really long cooldown, and that's where the problem comes in. It's a really long cooldown for very little small effects. That's the problem. And I'm not a big fan of it at all. Like, genuinely not a big fan. Because the problem with that causes is that should I use Bone Storm? Okay, well, I'll get some extra damage. The extra points in here, I can get some damage reduction. That's good. Can also get increased critical strike chance. That's great. But I can only use it once every 60 seconds. Unless I have conditional stuffs that will allow me to lower the cooldown of my abilities. Like every 100 essence I spend will reduce the cooldown of 0.5 seconds and stuff like that. And it's really hard for Blizzard to be in a good balance state with these things. Because if they give them too much damage, then it will result in you being in a position where it's just better for you to straight up spam. Basically, you have 0 damage, and then you have tons of damage when you pop your ultimate, and then you have low damage, then you pop the ultimate, you have tons of damage again, rinse, repeat that process. So the problem with that is that I don't think that there's any good middle ground, but because of the consistency of not having the ultimate is just straight up better across the board. I think that that's rather important to look into. So I think that's really important to point out. And for the blood build, I think that's blood build. It has an easier time with the ultimate skills. But my TLDR on this is that I personally feel that the ultimate skills are lackluster, and I don't feel like they are attractive enough, especially with the access of legendary powers such as the Corpse Tendril with Grasping Veins for the access of critical strike chance. Because yes, Bone Storm will give you crit once every 60-second minus whatever procs you have to lower it. But if I just have a corpse and I put Corpse Tendrils, my Grasping Veins will just let me have that crit anyways. And it's consistent. Anyways, let me know in the comments below what you guys think of the ultimate skills for the Necromancer and maybe how they are on the other classes and what you think of them. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe for more content. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Until then, stay safe. Keep rocking.